Hello, my name is Anand Kumar, student ID 92743. Today I'll walk you through my final assignment for the course Innovative Technology Driven Value Creation. Today I'll present a critique of waiter robots in the luxury hospitality industry using multiple academic models to test whether they truly create value. So why we are critic of waiter robots? Robots are rising in hospitality, often marketed as solutions for labor shortages or to create novelty. But in luxury hotels, there is a trade-off, operational efficiency versus emotional value. This critic applies academic model to ask, do waiter robots truly create value in luxury hospitality or do they undermine the essence of service? So we'll start with the introduction and context of waiter robots. Then we will reflect on value creation through Porter's value chain. Adaptation, Adoption potential will be analyzed with technology acceptance model and whole brain thinking. We'll move into financial impact with break-even analysis, cash cycle, and blue ocean. Then risk, both operational and data security. After that, strategic positioning using blue ocean versus Porter's five forces. And finally, we will close with go no go checklist. Start with what robots do and don'ts. What it does, it delivers food, drinks quickly and consistently, reduce staff fatigue from repetitive walking, increase table turnover and throughput, adds novelty wow factor for tech-forward brands, support upscaling via program prompts. What it doesn't provide empathy, humor, or personalized interactions, adapt well in heritage layouts, narrow aisles, stairs, handle complex guest requests or in special cases, reinforce the emotional warmth luxury guests expect, fully replace human service without service dilution. All these robots cannot do. From the lens of Porter's value chain, in operations, robots streamline food running and reduce labor intensity. In service, however, they risk diluting guest experience if overused. In marketing, they differentiate a hotel as tech forward. And in support, they require new vendor contracts and tech maintenance. The critic takeaway from this slide is robots fit neatly in operation but weaken the service differentiation that luxury hospitality depends on. Diagram on this slide illustrates the technology flow behind waiter robots in luxury hospitality, starting with a guest order that enter into the POS or expo system. The robot fleet manager dispatches robots to the kitchen pass. Robots then deliver plates to the guest tables, with staff handhelds receiving updates. The system connects with the PMS or CRM system, ensuring that guest profiles such as allergies, VIP preferences, or service notes are synchronized. Staff handhelds also feed service notes back into the CRM, thereby closing the loop. The architecture shows robots are not standalone. They are a part of wider digital hospitality ecosystem, integrating front of house, staff, and guest data. The critic note out of this slide is like this flow works in hotels with mature POS or CRM integration, but in heritage or fragmented setups, integration gaps create risk like errors, guest frustration, or operational bottlenecks. Now let us see what is the adoption potential using technology acceptance model. As the graph shows here, the usefulness over y-axis versus ease of use over the x-axis. Here what we see is guests find robots useful for faster service. Staff see ease of use, less walking, more efficiency. But in heritage hotels with narrow aisles, both usefulness and ease of use drop sharply. So TAM tells us adoption is context dependent. Robots fits best where physical layouts supports them. Together with the technology adoption potential TAM, it is also good to add here the lens of Hammond's whole brain thinking. Analytical thinkers, represented in top left blue here on the chart, strongly support waiter robots because they focus on ROI and efficiency gains. Practical thinkers, shown in below green here, tend to worry more about the operational details such as standard operating procedures, charging cycles, and POS integration. Relations thinkers, represented in red over the chart here, emphasize empathy and guest bonding, which robots tend to weaken in luxury hospitality contexts. Finally, innovative thinkers, represented in yellow over the top right of the chart here, are excited by the novelty factor, the wow factor, seeing robots as Instagram-worthy moments that create brand buzz. The critic takeaway: there is a clear cognitive versus emotional trade-off. Robots win in efficiency and novelty, but risk losing the heart of the hospitality. Next, the financial impact of waiter robots is particularly important to evaluate. From the break-even perspective, robots cost around 40,000 Swiss francs, but can generate about 95,000 per year in value through staff savings and additional covers. This means that they can pay back the investment in as little as 5 months or up to 18 months under more conservative assumptions. Looking at the cash conversion cycle, restaurants without robots often see cycle of about 90 days, largely due to payrolls and scheduling lags. After introducing robots, this can shorten to around 60 days because of reduced labor intensity and more predictable cost. However, vendor contracts are uh, ongoing maintenance introduce new liabilities that can offset part of these gains. Finally, through the Blue Ocean ERRC lens, robots eliminate repetitive walking, reduce service inconsistency, raise throughputs, and upscaling opportunities, and create a novelty factor that strengthens brand differentiations. The critic takeaway out of this slide is robot can deliver fast ROI, return of investment, and a smoother cash flow, but the value is fragile. It depends heavily on layout conditions and reliable vendor performance. Next, this risk matrix shows how different operational risks map in terms of likelihood and impact. Battery swap delays are low impact and low likelihood, so they are minor. POS dispatch errors sit in the middle. They are moderate but manageable. The real red zone risk is SL blockage or collisions, which have high impact on guest safety and services and require strict lane discipline to control. The critic takeaway: operationally, robots reduce small routine tasks or risk, but create one big high impact risk, collisions, which luxury hotels must plan for carefully. Beyond operational risk, robots also create data security challenges. Like at the data layer, they collect guest orders and payment details, which raises privacy concerns. Important, now. At the application layer, POS and Wi-Fi integration makes them vulnerable to outages or hacks. At the infrastructure layer, physical robots can be disabled or even stolen, a cyber physical risk. And at the governance layer, accountability becomes tricky. Who's responsible if robot fails, the hotel or the vendor? The critic takeaway is of out of this slide is robots cut routine risk like fatigue or inconsistency, but they introduce new digital and reputational risk. Real value depends on only not only on the hardware reliability but also on cybersecurity, governance, and guest trust. On the top of operational and data risk, waiter robots are also pose extended risk. There's a brand risk. One viral video of a robot crash in the luxury hotel could seriously damage reputation. There is a cyber risk. A hacked robot could disrupt service or leak guest data. And there is ethical risk. Replacing staff undermines hospitality, human touch, and raises cultural concerns. Critic takeaway: robots reduce routine errors but at high impact collisions and digital vulnerabilities. The true value requires lane discipline and a strong cybersecurity governance. Next, this slide compares robots against human-only service using two strategy tools. On the strategy canvas, as you see on the top right, robots outperform humans in response time, pacing consistency, breakage control, upscaling, and novelty. But humans still dominate in emotional warmth and heritage feel, which is the essence of luxury hospitality. On the Porter's 5 forces radar, bottom left, robots face high supply power, only a few vendor control pricing and updates, and a high threat of substitutes like kiosks and mobile apps. Buyer's power is strong too, since luxury guests expect flawless service. Critic takeaway out of this slide is robots win short-term efficiency and novelty, but Porter's 5 forces show fragile positioning. That is a strong vendor dependence and substitutes limit long-term advantage. Next, the conclusion. This slide wraps up the critic with the go no go checklist. Robots are a go when they augment human staff rather than replace them. When the physical layout supports safe movement, when a brand is tech forward, and when a labor costs are high enough for ROI, return of investment, payback to be attractive. They are no-go in heritage or luxury contexts where emotional warmth is central, when guests expect deeply personalized service, when data governance is weak, or when robots are mainly used as headcount cutters. So in all these cases, it is no-go. From Goldman's perspective, robots lack empathy, adaptability, and social awareness. But if staff are freed from routine running, they can focus more on these high touch competencies um, and other services. Gardner also reminds us that robots excel as logical efficiency, but humans dominate in interpersonal and cultural norms. The final takeaway out of this topic is robots deliver efficiency, but emotional value remains the decisive edge in luxury hospitality. The future is not robot versus humans, it's robot plus human, thereby co-creating differentiated guest experience. So to conclude, this Weta Robots critic shows that Weta Robots in luxury hospitality can create real financial and operation value through faster service, reduced walking, and strong ROI. But the risks are equally real, from data security to vendor dependence to loss of emotional warmth, which remains the soul of hospitality. The key takeaway is very clear here. Robots are not here to replace humans, but to complement them. Thank you.